Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Ozcast.
It really is fascinating, isn't it? How just a few words, a slogan, can get so tied up in politics.
Absolutely. Language becomes this incredibly potent symbol.
And, how it can sometimes be used to try and bridge gaps or maybe signal something new. Which brings us to something interesting that came across our desk recently.
Yeah, involving former President Trump.
That's right. There was this moment where he was, essentially getting a quick lesson in Spanish.
For his signature slogan, no less.
Exactly. Make America Great Again.
So we're looking at a Fox News piece covering this, right?
Yes, specifically an interaction during Rachel Campos-Duffy's show, Fox Noticias. She was the one who actually taught him the phrase during an interview.
Okay. So let's dig into this source a bit. The Fox article lays it out pretty clearly. Campos-Duffy basically said she wanted to teach him the Spanish version.
Mm-hmm. She offered the full phrase, Vamos a hacer América grande otra vez.
Vamos a hacer América grande otra vez. Which, for non-Spanish speakers, that's quite a few words to get your head around. Definitely. And the interesting part, according to the report, was Trump's actual attempt.
What did he end up saying?
He apparently responded with, America grande otra vez.
Ah, okay. So America Great Again, basically.
He dropped the vamos a hacer part.
Which means, let's make.
Precisely. Let's make America great again versus just America great again.
It seems like a small difference, but does it? Does it change the meaning much?
Well, potentially. Let's make carries this sense of collective action, something we're aiming for together in the future.
Right, a call to action almost.
Yeah, whereas America Great Again, on its own, sounds more like a statement of fact, maybe about the present, or even, looking back, less about the doing and more about the state itself.
That's a subtle but quite important distinction, I think. It shifts the whole feel of it.
It really does.
And the Fox article emphasized this wasn't just some random off-the-cuff language chat, did it?
No, not at all. Campos-Duffy explicitly linked it to his slogan. It was very intentional.
Which just underlines how central that phrase still is for him, for his whole political brand.
Absolutely. And the article quotes him saying as much to her that his presidency was fundamentally about making America great again. He even apparently added that doing it is so easy.
Interesting. Now, the timing mentioned in the article, this happened around his 100th day in office of his current term, according to the source.
Yes, that's what the Fox News piece noted.
Why flag that specific point, the 100 days? Is that significant?
Well, traditionally, the first 100 days are seen as this, symbolic benchmark for a presidency, a time to sort of show momentum and set the tone.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
A progress report, almost.
Exactly. So having this interaction around that mark might suggest it wasn't just a throwaway moment. It could be seen as part of a narrative he's constructing about that initial period.
So it makes you wonder, is this maybe a calculated move? An attempt at broader outreach?
It certainly raises the question.
I mean, learning even a part of that key phrase in Spanish, could that be seen as trying to connect with, say, Spanish-speaking voters?
It could definitely be interpreted that way. On one level, any attempt to use another language in politics can look like an effort towards being more inclusive.
Acknowledging the reality of the U.S. today.
Right. Acknowledging the importance of Hispanic and Latino communities. But then you have to ask about the effectiveness,
How genuine does it feel?
Exactly. Is a single phrase, especially one not quite mastered, enough? Or does it need to be backed up by, more substantial engagement on issues that matter to those communities?
Yeah.
That's the real test, probably.
Good point. The article also brings up another familiar line from him, doesn't it? About global respect.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
He apparently told Campos-Duffy that since he's been back, the U.S. is now respected all over the world again.
Which ties right back into the whole Make America Great Again idea. It's not just domestic.
Absolutely. That slogan has always had the strong undercurrent of restoring America's standing internationally, its perceived strength and influence.
So even this little language moment could be seen as reinforcing that broader message.
Potentially, yes. trying to communicate that vision, maybe showing it resonates across different groups within the country, it sort of folds into the main theme.
Okay, so let's try to sort of wrap our heads around this. The key event. Former President Trump gets taught his slogan in Spanish on Fox News, gives it a try, gets part of it.
Right. America grande, otra vez.
And this happens around the 100-day mark of his term, coupled with his claims about restoring global respect.
That's the picture painted by the source material.
So what's the main takeaway for you looking at this specific incident?
I think it really highlights how political communication is, well, it's always evolving. There seems to be a clearer recognition now, maybe more explicit, of the country's multilingual reality.
Even for very established political brands.
Exactly. Now, whether this instance is, a deep strategic shift towards genuine connection or more of a symbolic nod, that's harder to say just from this one event.
Sure, it could be either, or mix.
But it definitely signals that political figures are thinking, or perhaps being pushed to think, about how they reach different parts of the electorate linguistically.
Which leaves us with a pretty interesting thought to chew on, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What does this small moment, a former leader learning a bit of Spanish for his catchphrase on TV, really tell us? What does it suggest about where American politics might be heading in terms of language and outreach?
Yeah, and what are the implications if using languages other than English becomes more common in campaigns and political messaging? How does that change the conversation?
Definitely something to keep an eye on. It's a complex intersection of language, identity, and political strategy.
Absolutely. It's fascinating stuff.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.